tough luck. You don't get to celebrate touchdowns. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, despite the fact that you got your first win last week, you're not allowed to do touchdown celebrations. Too bad. Try better next year.
This is the most Pats fan rule ever.
This is not a Pats fan rule because the Patriots are going to run into this issue at some point. They're not going to continue the 17 straight years of 10-plus wins for much longer.
That's the thing. You were a different man the last time the Patriots were not a playoff contender. I don't know how vivid of memories you have of that. Many, many years ago, back when Bill Clinton was president or whatever.
Before my son was born, my eldest son.
First Bush.
Exactly.
First Bush.
Right.
Reagan.
And I can just say, as a fan of a team that has been very bad and where there was zero rays of any type of sunshine in a 2-14 season. I mean, again, I don't want to see anybody celebrating when we're down by 3 scores. But hey, if it's in one of those 2 games you're winning, something finally is good happening, and the players look like they're actually having fun for the first time all year. But yeah, let them have fun.
Yeah, I lived through a 1-15 season. I know what it's like. I don't forget that 1-15 season. Never forget. It's a badge. This is the badge of honor that I get to wear that my 16-year-old son does not get to wear, who's lived through the 17 straight years of 10-plus wins. I lived through a number of really horrible years. I remember those years. I never wish them to return to those years. However, I fully expect those years to return. Probably it could be as soon as next year, quite honestly. But, yeah. I love watching the touchdown celebrations. I just can't help but think a fan watching that of that particular team goes, you could have taken that extra hour and maybe studied a little bit more film. Maybe start getting ready for next week or because the next time you lose, I'm going to remember that time that you took an hour out of practice to do coordinating touchdown celebrations. Doing a leapfrog or getting in a circle and pouring out beers to your homies and chugging them down, that takes 5 seconds. You can talk about that in the locker room. That doesn't take any time off of anything. Doing this type of coordinated dance, and James, I get it. They probably watched the video 100 million times. They still had to coordinate, and I know working with random people, it takes time to get that type of coordination. They had that thing down perfect.
I mean, if we're done with grumpy old PodVader, get off my lawn, let's also remember that the touchdown they celebrated this on was blown coverage by the Minnesota secondary.
Oh, see, now you're just shoving it in Minnesota's face. That's just.
I'm just saying the guy was wide open, and Xavier Rhodes expected safety help when the safety rotated to the strong side of the formation. So the help he was looking for never showed up, and he let his man run straight through to the end zone, untouched.
All right. Well, grumpy old man Vader is leaving now, and we'll get to the picks here. And
get off my lawn.
We'll start, as always, as James learned before we started the podcast, with Thursday Night Football. It is the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears, both teams at 500, 6-6. The Cowboys are 12th in our power rankings. The Bears are 16th. Cowboys are favored by 3 points on the road. They do hold the all-time series advantage, 13-11, including victories in each of the past 2 matchups between these 2 teams. In their last meeting, which was week 3 of the 2016 season, Dak Prescott recorded his first career game with both a passing and rushing touchdown, and Ezekiel Elliott rushed for 140 yards. Cowboys beat the Bears 31-17. Chicago enters Thursday night with a 2-game winning streak after they beat Detroit and David Blau 24-20. Trubisky passed for a season-high 338 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 118-1 passer rating. So for me, this one is going to come down to which quarterback plays better on Thursday, Dak on the road or Trubisky. And while I can't really trust Trubisky, Bears are at home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't like this game at all. I'm going to go against my gut, and I'm going to take the Cowboys. My gut is telling me the Bears win this game, which means it's Thursday night. Go the opposite way and take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I want to change my pick because I think I actually selected the Cowboys, but after looking at the injury report, I want to take the Bears now. So let me get the injuries real quick. Leighton Vander Esch is out with a neck injury.
He's been out.
Other Cowboys showing up on the injury report include Sean Lee with a pec, Michael Bennett with a foot, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, all questionable, Randall Cobb with an illness, Tony Pollard with an ankle.
Oh, see, you hit the right one. Wait, the other guys all sound like regulars on the injury report. Randall Cobb with the silent killer. That's the one.
Yeah. So I'm concerned with this many players, especially on their defense. You're talking about two of their top linebackers. One's definitely not going to play, and one is questionable. And we all know about Sean Lee's injury history. This is something where he could start the game and not finish. So that's what has me concerned there. Offensive line being banged up as it is. Again, Collins and Smith, who knows if they make it the whole game. If either one of them misses a play, you can believe that Khalil Mack will be licking his chops on whoever the replacement is for either one of them. On the Bears side, Ben Braunecker and Taylor Gabriel are both in concussion protocol. Prince Amukamara has a hamstring injury, and Danny Trevathan shows up as questionable in the injury report as well.
James, you convinced me. I've changed my pick too. Nick, you were always with the Bears.
I was a hipster. I was way out ahead of you guys on this one.
Congratulations.
These are two
I wish I knew.
Thank you. Yeah, got the man bun to prove it. And, I mean, these are just two teams that are going in two different directions. I mean, you've seen the Cowboys slowly crumbling. You had Jerry Jones this week saying, Jason, I'm sure he's going to be employed somewhere in the league next year, essentially saying he's a dead man walking. And, you know, and you have these teams are both somehow 6-6. That the Bears have clawed their way back. Trubisky actually played really well, granted, against a bad defense last week. But, like, the Dallas defense has quietly not been very good either. They're in the bottom half of the league in defensive DVOA against both the pass and the run. And they're like 23rd against the run. I think, you know, if they can put together a conservative game plan that protects Trubisky a little bit, I don't see it as being really all that outlandish if the Bears pull this out at home.
Weather shouldn't be too much of a factor. Cold, a low of 30, breezy, gusts up to 23 miles per hour. Typical winter weather for Chicago, but nothing too outlandish. Although you never know. The Cowboys maybe don't like playing in that type of weather. Dak Prescott, it took him almost 2 quarters to put a glove on in the rain in Foxborough, so you never know. Hey, our first Sunday game features a team that decided to fire their head coach literally just the other day. And that is the Carolina Panthers, 5-7, at the Atlanta Falcons, 3-9. It was not the Falcons who fired their coach. Oh, no. It was the Carolina Panthers. Panthers 20th in the power ranking, the Falcons 26th. Falcons favored by 3 points in this particular game. Now, I don't get why the Panthers have made this move now in firing Ron Rivera. It seems like it's a little early for that, especially since no other team has fired anyone, and the only team that's really been rumored to is the team that Nick just brought up in the Dallas Cowboys. So with Ron Rivera fired, let's start with possible destinations for Ron. I say this is good news for the Cowboys, Bengals, and Washington.
Yeah, probably is not going to happen. But if I'm Cleveland, I go ahead and change the locks on Freddie Kitchens' office right now and give Ron Rivera a
call. Also not a bad idea.
True. I would have to agree with Nick with that one. Cleveland is probably because let's be real. I don't think anybody at this point believes Kitchens is going to keep his job come the Monday after the end of the regular season. He'll probably be the first name on the chopping block, no matter how Cleveland finishes up. They could run the table and win all 4. And, obviously they're probably still going to miss the playoffs, but I don't see him keeping his job. So Cleveland's probably the top destination. As far as Washington goes, nah, that's a pick that, Rivera in Washington is something that probably makes sense on some level. So Dan Snyder won't do it.
I mean,
the thing is, I think. Go ahead.
Well, to me, the Cowboys could be an interesting spot. Now, I know Jerry Jones, 1, likes guys that are going to be subservient to him, and 2, tends to go with an offensive-minded head coach. But you're probably going to lose Chris Richard on the defensive side of the coaching scale in Dallas this offseason. He was a highly sought-after coach last season. He'll probably be highly sought after this offseason. So bringing in Ron Rivera, who is a defensive-minded head coach, might make a lot of sense for the Cowboys. And if you really think about it from Carolina's perspective, who are looking for an offensive-minded head coach, maybe they just swap coaches. Maybe, maybe. I can't even continue with that thought. That was just foolish.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're done with the jokes. Not going to happen.
I was just going to say that, the one thing with Rivera is that he's an established enough guy in this league. He has a lot of his own guys in terms of staff. And I have a feeling he's not going to want to go to a place that it's like a garbage front office that has a bunch of dysfunction there that is going to want to be too meddling. I mean, I think I get the feeling like if there's not a great opportunity for him this year, he'd be probably comfortable to wait a year. If the best shot he's got is something like Washington, and they're going to keep Bruce Allen and all of that dysfunction, like he's like, okay, fine, I'll wait to see who gets fired next year. Because he's the sort of guy who can come and bring kind of some institutional stability with him if you allow him to do it. And as far as this game, I mean, it's, the whole midseason firing a coach thing, like I get it for someone, I mean, I don't know, like Jay Gruden, it wasn't really his fault what happened there, but at least some of the time you're thinking, okay, we're going to get a spark. I think this is kind of the opposite. I don't think that the players are going to play harder now suddenly, now that Ron is gone. I think he was pretty well liked by his team. And so it's definitely not going to be a spark. It could be, a real anchor for them the rest of the season.
Well, I say Atlanta should thank Carolina for not only letting Rivera go, thus basically assuring them a victory this week, but maybe Rivera's next best stop is Atlanta.
An interesting thought.
Definitely need to hit up MJ about that. They want sweeping changes across the board from coaches to players to the front office. So could be.
I mean, listen, it makes a lot of sense. You're getting a division rival's former head coach, so he already knows that team pretty well inside and out. And he's a good coach. I mean, he did mention during his press conference that he won the NFC South division title 3 straight years in a row after the team went 2-14. He took over the 2-14 team and then won 3 straight NFC South division championships. Now, one of those years was not necessarily with a winning record, but he still won the division.
Well, but how dare he injure Cam Newton that way?
I know. Seriously.
I don't think that's his fault.
Now, Carolina wants an offensive guy. So I was looking over the list of potential candidates. Byron Leftwich is probably going to be the number 1 sought after offensive coordinator. He's with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not letting Byron Leftwich go to Carolina. That's not happening.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Greg Roman is going to be probably a hot name out there based on Baltimore's success this year. I highly doubt he's going anywhere.
Baltimore's not letting him walk.
Deuce Staley with Philadelphia. Possibly, but I think that would be a mistake. I think it might be a little too early for Deuce.
Yeah, way too early because Deuce is not even an offensive coordinator. He's just the running backs coach.
Nick, how about Eric Bieniemy?
I think that makes sense. I was surprised he didn't get more attention. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get more attention in the last kind of cycle of all of this. And I do think, it was a bit of a trend in certain ways, that particular cycle. But, I do think there's a big possibility now if he really wants an offensive guy, given that probably the shine has come off of the McVay tree this year. The next stop over, if you're looking for some sort of a tried and true offensive, coaching system, you go to a Reed guy. So that would make sense.
The other name that I've seen is listed as probably The highest probability at this point, and again, it's way too early, and there's lots of rumors, would be Kevin Stefanski, who almost got the Cleveland job last year and ended